The Community Heart and Soul process was developed by the Orton Family Foundation over 20 years of work, and it was started by Lyman Orton and his experience as a select board member and a planner on the Planning Commission for his small town of Vermont. He saw that the community was having difficulty making decisions, and that voices that needed to be included in the conversation were not being heard, and that ultimately that would create a future that didn't incorporate all the people in his town. And also he saw this happening in a lot of other small towns. So as the proprietor of the Vermont Country Store, he took money from his business and started the foundation. Spent the first 10 years focusing primarily on planning tools for comprehensive plans and vision plans, but then realized that there's so much more that needs to happen in order to create a true plan. That involves the cultural, social, the economic, all the pieces of what makes a community a real community, what really matters most to the people who live there. And so over the last 10 years, the focus has been more on a process, the Community Heart and Soul process, that identify what matters most to a community and helps a community take action based on what matters most. The Community Heart and Soul process has 3 primary principles. The first is to involve everyone in your community. The second principle is to focus on what matters most to your community. And the third process is to play the long game in terms of making decisions for the health and the well-being of your community. The 3 principles are operationalized through a 4-phase process. The phases are to lay the groundwork in your community, which is to go out and figure out who's really in your community, to do what we call a community network analysis, to see who the organizations, the different demographics are, the individuals that connect those communities, and to come up with a plan to engage people where they're at, to go out to where people live, where they work, and to hear from them, to hear what matters most to them through storytelling. This leads into phase 2, which is exploring the community. There's a lot of different ways that you can go out and talk to people. You can do one-on-one conversations, group conversations. It really depends on your community and your town, and we've got lots of great examples of how communities have gone out and really explored who's there and heard from people. The third phase is to make decisions. From these stories, you pull out data about what matters most to your community's common cause, or your heart and soul statements. And those statements help you to prioritize and make decisions about what actions you really need to preserve and protect your community. And that leads into phase 4, which is about taking action, and taking action over the long term. And these actions can be very informal. It can be things that community members are doing together to protect your heart and soul, or it can be preserved in things like your planning, your master plan, your comprehensive plan, or a town's vision plan. Municipal officials should care about the Community Heart and Soul process because it creates a new way of doing business in a community. It allows residents to be a part of the process. It helps town officials to know what really matters to the future of their community and to their residents, so that they can take risks. They can take the kind of actions that they need to preserve their community. They can be in partnership with their residents. And they can really do their job. They can make decisions in a confident way for the future of their communities. Communities can get involved in the Heart and Soul process you can start by taking a look at the Orton Family Foundation website. It's orton.org, and there's a field guide that we've developed over the last 10 years that talks in depth about what this process looks like and all the different phases that you would need to go through to complete this process. You can contact the foundation if you have any questions. We do have a help desk. The best way to really get started is to take a look at what the process is and get some friends together, or get some of your town officials together. Get a mixed group of folks who might be interested in some kind of a broad scale engagement process, who are interested in doing something positive for their community, who are interested in getting involved in their local government, and talk about it. Talk about what it might mean for your community. Again, contact the foundation, see what might happen for some next steps.